So today I am going to show you I'm going to make a pin cushion out of this 4-inch round. Specifically, the customer previously had one that came in a wooden, it was like a kit, I guess, probably a self-finishing type thing. And so it had a wood disc, or I don't know. I never saw it. It was just explained to me. So you're probably going, what the heck is that? I've never seen that. So some tools that I'll be using today are going to be the obviously the needlepoint, ultra suede. I have a piece of regular cardboard. I will be using, this is a what do they call it? It's round wood box with lid, and the outside measures 5.11 inch by 1.57. Man, that's tiny print. So this is going to be what we are going to put a stuffed, but it's not really stuffed because that's what this is about. I'm going to be taking, I have a really large piece of 100% wool pre-felt, sold by the bolt at Joann's, so that I could have really long strips, which you'll see in the future. But I wanted you to be able to see what I'm talking about. And then this is a needle felt pen filled with 38 size 38 spiral needles. They don't have to be spiral. This is just going to help. You'll see what it's for in the future. So let's get started with getting a few things together. All right, hold on. Let me get myself situated. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is cut this down and put the darts in. Okay. Now I filmed this a little out of sequence. So we do 1/2 inch-ish darts, 1/4 inch. It's 13 counts, so I'm not going to do it too close together. So I did a spider pin cushion not too long ago, in which I used a needle felted core, because I did not want to have any foam core, any mat board, so that no matter where they put the pin at, they wouldn't hit anything hard. I'm very particular about my pins. Haha, as 90% of them are covered in glue. Total lie. Not covered, but okay. So the next thing we are going to do is we're just going to bend edges over. We are not steaming them flat to the back like we do in traditional ornaments. And you'll see why in a few moments. Well, once we make the centerpiece. Okay, it's not very happy. It's gone back out of center, but we'll make sure it's centered when we put it on. Okay. All right. So the next part is going to be making the needle felt core. So give me a second. Let me get all of my needle felting stuff up and we'll hit it again. All right, so I have my needle felting rice bag that I made a million years ago, pillow, which you can see it's got a hole in it from stabbing. And I have a 2-inch wide 100% wool felt. You can purchase it by the yard at Joann's. It's about $20 yard, so definitely got it on sale. But this is the easiest way to make the insert that I'm going to set down inside of the wood, the lidded wood piece that will no longer have a lid that will then become the form for the pin cushion. So I did this for a spider one and it worked really good. So I'm going to give this a shot for this one as well. So you start by as tightly as you can. The tighter you can get it, the better. And we're just going to roll it. And you know what? I am going to switch. This is a size, I think, 22 spiral. I was using an 18, I think it was. Might have even been thicker than that. It's been a long time since I've done needle felting, and all of my needles are kind of mixed up. So it might take me a bit to go through. I'll see if I can get this big chunker to go into it. I forget if it's like wire gauge, where it's the opposite of smaller the size, the bigger the number. So you just keep every few turns. You just keep spinning it and spinning it. Now we have, I believe it is a 3 3/4 inch hole that we will be putting this into. I'm actually doing this while the base is painting, so I'm kind of not doing this in order. So I can tell that I didn't cut this very evenly because I have longer hair and it's pretty even there. But this was the outer edge of the fabric. Okay. So you might think, oh my gosh, that's so much stabbing. I do have multiple needle tools. It's just, I'll be using the double one in a few minutes with once I go to really compress it down. For right now, this will do just to get us where we need to go. You're probably going to want to fast forward through this because, yeah, it takes a while to get it even close. I mean, we're barely at an inch thick. And you might say, oh, Kelly, why bother? Well, if I have a, pincushion, I want it to be something that's going to last a long time, if possible, and isn't going to just shred. I mean, I can't just make it like the needlepoint, like a puffed ornament top and have foam core underneath it, so every time you go to poke in a pin, it's gonna have, you have to push down really hard to get it to go in. This is just something that worked the last time, so I thought I'd give it a shot this time. I'm sure you guys have seen the really cute little spider pincushion. I'm apologizing for not knowing the name of the designer right now. And see, as I pull it, how it necked it in a little. That's why you definitely want to cut your strip bigger than the depth that you want. Because if you start pulling it too tight, what happens? It's going to get skinnier and skinnier and skinnier. And wool compresses a lot. Especially, oof, I can see I'm not doing very well there. But that is the beautiful part of wool. I'll be able to needle felt some more right on the top and get the desired mounding that I want, even if I've got a chop, because see how that started to disappear. So I can literally, very carefully, because I'm going, you don't realize how far these shrink in, but they do. Stick in. Can't tell you how many times I have stabbed myself with these, and they go in so easily. I literally went in one side and out the other side and had 2 pokes through my skin. Was not pleasurable at all. Some felters might think I should, potentially wet felt something, like how they do dryer balls. But it's definitely, I don't know, I really liked the way this turned out on the last one. So I personally believe it will be worth it in the end. Apparently, what I am trying to replicate is I won't say it's a self-finishing piece, but there used to be a company that had a wood base that then you could put your needlepoint on top of, and it became a pincushion. All right, so we're going to take that little bit and I just like to try to make sure, you can tell there's no way to do this quickly. Well, again, multi-needle tool, they're out there. There's a great one, it's a clover tool, it's got 5, but it's really hard when you're using these big chunker needles. I like the control of just being able to do this. And then there's another, I think it's another clover tool that's like 3. That works okay, but for what I'm doing for just the major chunking part, I'm checking my drawers to make sure I don't have the other. No. I'm gonna have to dig through my bins. I'm not prepared. Again, yet another project I was not planning. On videotaping. Looks like a little hedgehog nose. So it compresses in the direction that you stab it. So if you start stabbing this downward, it will compress down, straight down. But you turn it, because if you stab it too much in one direction, it'll start looking like the top of an ice cream cone. Like it started to, ooh, I almost got myself. Okay. Trying to make sure my light is wiggling, and I want to make sure my camera isn't. Okay. Piece of waste canvas there. And here we go again. Another strip. Let's see, there's the line. Kind of feather that edge in a little bit. Doesn't really matter now, because this is going to be deep in the core. Maybe I should turn on some music. I don't know if you can hear that loud buzzing fan. It's getting a little warm up here in this lovely spring weather in my barn studio. Just like a barn, cool downstairs, hot up. I got a knot pull because it's stretching that out. And while it is compressing it, so this is what they call pre-felt. It's already been felted down. If we're using wool technology, verbiage. I have a few felting videos on my YouTube channel. I used to do little shorts, goofy things. Stop motion animation films. And if you saw that it kind of was stuck into the pad, yeah, that's because I was going all the way through there. Felting it right into that. And I'm starting to get thicker here and not as thick there. Turn this sideways for a second. Do a little directional stabbing. Yeah, we only have, of course I can't find my, oh, here's a not so great ruler. Oh, we made it out 2 inches. Will it be that far? No, I'm going to make that compress right down even wider, wider, wider. That did not make sense. Hope you weren't listening. You were fast forwarding. When I finally start getting a little closer to my size that I want to do, I'll be going around it and really working it. And needle felting, it takes time. It just takes a lot of time. If you want to get it smooth, if you want to, I mean, we don't have to go crazy like when I was making my little characters, because this is going to be covered in needlepoint. But we also don't want it, we want this to be relatively dense. And to have the dense wool, you definitely need to stab, 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 stab. I will say this. If you've had a not so great day and you want to come home and let out some frustration, this is an awesome hobby. Art form, whatever you choose to do with it. Now, you know, don't get caught making little dolls of people and sticking pins in them. Because that's what all of the people think needle felters do, really do. And so what if we do? Just so happens I used to make dolls all the time with my little 3D motion stuff, 3D animation. Blah, blah, blah. Boy, I'm really screwing up verbally today. with my stop motion animation, I basically made dolls that I then posed and made little stories of. I enjoyed it very much. Okay, had to do that. Just sometimes you gotta do a little extra stabbing to get it to compress. Okay. Getting out of line again. So I'm gonna push this bottom up a little bit, tack it in. I don't want to get too misshapen at the bottom. Have that big void there again. I don't want that. So I'm gonna pull it a little so that this line up here. Yeah, I'm taking it around a little bit more than I normally would before stabbing. Okay. But I have a reason. Okay. I'm going to take a minute and go find my tools. Okay, as you can see, I found my tool, one of them, and boy, was I way off. Okay, so here is 38 spirals, which is what I put in to my 3 needle. 36 is the big ka-chunker. The 42s are the 40s are the next size smaller. These get finer and finer and finer gauge. So the lower the number, the fatter and the more, how do I put it? This is kind of the chunking, the get it down to what you want it to get it down to. The 36, the 38s, the 36 are tough. They're more for like doing the big scarves and, you know, really serious felting, for more for garments. And the reason I have them is because I did a really big piece and I needed to chunk the core in. It was big and he's solid wool. But the 38s are what I'm going to use now. And then these are the finesse. This is what gets everything smooth. So I don't want to be ill-informed when it comes to my needles, because I don't want to mess you up if you decide to go and grab something that you're getting the right things. I think I got this originally at Michael's or something like that. That was about the only place that had it way back when I first got started in it. And you'll see that this is going to really help compress. But we don't need to go too nuts. I just want to make sure that, at least, you know, not right now. I want to make sure that this all is pretty much staying where I want it. Because I don't know if you've ever played with your with a cloth tape. You know, cloth tape. Dressmaker's lovely measuring tape, but I don't want the center part to go bloop because it wasn't attached to anything, like when you, because I used to play with my mom's, and I still mess around with my own when I'm trying to recurl it, and all of a sudden the center of it pops up and brilliant. So we just want to make sure that it's generically tacked down, because what's going to happen is I am going to basically sew the needlepoint piece down onto this. This is definitely not, so, you know, you've seen how I do my ornaments. And on my ornaments, I use a piece of foam core, and then I glue the waste canvas down, and then I sew on the cording. But, you know, it does not work for this, because if I did that, then anybody whoever's, whether this is a gift or they're using it for themselves, they would be so mad at me, because they'd be sticking it in there and going right into glue. And trust me, you've seen me struggle with sometimes finding a no glue pin in my pin cushion. Yeah, ticks me right off. Just saying. And you can tell where you haven't stabbed. Okay, so I have went down and I brought up. So we have a bit to go. Yeah. And I just really did fast cutting on these neck strips. And at this point, I think I can actually get rid of the pad, because I'm just basically needle felting into this. All right. Okay. Here we go. So it's so thick, guess what? Now I get to pull it tight. And what difference does that make? Well, it compresses the wool even more. Less stabbing. It just dawned on me. Oh geez. Did you forget to turn on the camera? That would be so me. Now I know you're probably thinking, wow, we're getting really wide and you only want it like 1.5 inches. I can come back and cut all this down and shape it, and it will be the exact size that I want, hopefully. And if I take off too much, then I can just add a little back on. Beauty of wool. Can you tell I like wool? I will say this. For people that use wool for stitching, that is the one place that, while it has its purpose there, it can be a real bear when it comes to blocking. And why is that? Because wool has a memory. So if you don't use stretcher or a frame, and it becomes extremely distorted, then what happens is when you try to block it, it keeps wanting to pull back to the way you had stitched it. So it doesn't matter. So if you're sitting there fighting something and now are realizing that, oh my gosh, this is why I did a wool piece and I could not get it straight and to stay straight after. And it was because I did it all in wool. What? Yep, that's right. Wool has a memory. It likes to go back to the way it was. And I've had some really distorted canvases that, they really, probably why I have such bad arthritis in my hand, aside from a genetic predisposition for it. Oh, my pen matches my fingernail polish. Sorry. Shiny object, got distraction. Yeah. Totally lost my train of thought with that. Wow. Oh, I've just had some really bad ones and it always seems to be pillows that were wool. And the arthritis in my hand is probably from blocking. There we go. See, I remembered. Luckily. I think I should stitch that canvas from Edie and Ginger that said I lost my train of thought because it derailed, something like that. I mean, I painted the master for it. You'd think I could remember it. I have no short-term memory. Long-term memory. Heck, I just got lost talking about my arthritis because I noticed the stinking pen color. Okay. Oh, by the way, I'm an overstabber. I'm compulsive that way. My apologies. But you can't have it too loose either, because that doesn't do what you want it to do either. Oh, spiral needles are special for finishing the surface. So if all you can find are regular, not spiral, that's okay. That's great. Because you're not doing the finish work of an artist. We are just doing meat and potatoes felting. I know. Wishful thinking, Kelly. It's getting there. I hope you're fast forwarding. Boring. Yeah. Man, I'm really gonna need to put some music on. I'm gonna bore you guys to death. What kind of music should we do? People's taste in music varies so widely. Watch that compress right down. Ooh, I love it. Not sure I can get that. I'll push it down a little. Oof. My shoulder. It's telling me I haven't done this in a very long time. I may have to that off with my X-Acto blade. And yes, that is exactly how I do it. And even, I sometimes even nip it down with my scissors. Yep, that's what I did with the other one. Oop. Oop, oop, oop. Look at that. Beautiful. Right? And stab, 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 stab. And roll. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that you can't just roll it up and forget about all of this Stabby Joe stuff. But I like the compression aspect of it. I also like, now you can, so I've heard, needle felt poly batting. But I like wool. It's all natural. Little cutie animal. I grew up on a farm. Didn't have sheep though. We had horses and cows. And cats. I had lots of cats. Barn cats. Okay, how painful is it to watch me do this? I know. It's painful. It's why I didn't do a video of it the last time. Thought, no. Nobody's gonna want to do this. What do you want to bet? I'm right. Okay, if you wanted to, like I said, you can just roll it up. Ooh, we're very close. But apparently I just don't do anything in a manner which would be easy or simplified, or because I'm ridiculous. Glutton for punishment? I don't know. And yes, I have a little stabbing OCD, if that is such a thing. Okay. Just trying to see how much I'm going to have to take down on this. But if I come down here, so the last time I did this with the spider, so cute, I put fabric up the side and then I put the needle point on the top. Well, not true. I put the needle point on the top and then I made a tube of material, ultra suede, and put it down over that top edge. I'm going to show you how I did it because I was pretty happy with myself on how I got it to go on. A couple more around and I think we're good. Well, I'm going to make it bigger than that because I really would like to compress this down more. I want it to fit nice and snug. So this piece of wood isn't really that heavy, but better than having nothing on the bottom of it. And like I said, we're trying to emulate something that this person had previously had. And unfortunately, some of those really fun things like that aren't necessarily around anymore. The vendor no longer makes it. I mean, look at how, I mean, it wasn't out of fashion for me sewing or things of that nature, but you know, it's not a surprise that a pincushion isn't a hugely popular gift. Now people have their little needle magnets, needle minders. Very close, we are very, very close. Oh, lovely, just lovely. I'm sure you can guess that I'm a fan of Shaun the Sheep. Yes, yes. Because I've already given you a couple hints that I like stop motion animation and I like sheep. Okay. Pretty good. I might end up having to put a little more on there by the time I do a little compressing. Like maybe just one more. Now, I'm sitting here thinking about the shape that I'm going to have on the top, right? And I thought, you know, I could probably needle felt an egg out of this for my new ornament line. Oh my gosh, could you imagine what that would take? Okay, let me see. I think, you know, take this bulbous part off. Well, getting into the deep stuff, time for the nippy scissors. Alright. Might be pretty close. Now, I want to make sure that this is smooth enough. I don't want to see dents once I put the needlepoint on. So I want to make sure that everything is, oof, oh, that worked. Sometimes it's just a mat smashing it. Oof, look at that. Little tasty little dish there. Okay. It's got a little muffin top like I have in my jeans. Well, it's the truth. I'm not making it up. When my kids were little, they only liked to eat the tops off of muffins. And they would leave the paper parts behind. And I used to tell them to eat the muffin butts too. You can't just have the tops, you have to eat the muffin butts. They ignored me. And laughed. Because of the word I used. Because what does kid doesn't laugh at that? Okay. Okay. Gotta stop us there for a minute. Now we have to figure out how much of this to remove, right? So I want this line to be as close to flush as possible so that maybe I don't even have to use fabric around the outside. So yeah, we want to look and see, and it's going to be about 1/2 inch that we need to take off the bottom. Now I have to say, I was outside spraying this and a little bug flew in and landed on my bottom and got stuck and decided to end it all apparently, and so I have to repaint that again after I just was working on it. Silly bug. I know he didn't want to die that way, but still. Okay. So I'm going to try to kind of gauge it by the fluffiest part in here. Let's see. Balance my ruler up on this a little bit. And I'm going to put in a pin. I'm just going to keep doing that. Now, the best part of this is that if it looks wonky after I have cut through it, I can add more on. What's really interesting about this is the next step, which is putting the gotta be careful now, I gotta pick it up a little higher. Putting the needlepoint on, because to get this roundness to it, so it looks, you know, extra stuffed. We're going to utilize a little steam and almost like reblock it. I know, you're saying, Kelly, why didn't you just make it? You saw how it compressed as I pulled. You've got to just do it a little bigger if you choose to do it this way. I am sure that there are easier ways, and you will think, ugh, I'm not doing that. But You know, I'm probably going to have to put fabric on it. I am, because pulling it on and off. We'll see. Maybe do you see that bent pin? Jeez, I have way too many of those in that pin cushion. Okay. Whee! Look at that wheel. Okay. Again, for right now, we're going to start. All right, so I'm looking at this, and yeah, I must have hit. Okay, don't go by the outside of the pin. Go by where the pin is stuck into. Okay, let me see if I can do it with my blade. A little bit easier. Heck yeah. Get rid of that. Be smart about it. Put it back in the pin cushion. Hope I actually get to use this section, because I don't muck it up so much that I decide to not show you. But you know how I am. I show you the good, the bad, oh, and the mistakes that you regret. Well, you don't regret them. You learn from them. It is called failing up. I like that term. That's why, even though, for as much as I try to help you guys out, until you do it, don't always get what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah. And we're going to the center of the earth. I have a blade. Oh, I do have a longer blade, don't I? Yeah. Now, if I can only find where I put that one, because I don't use box cutters all that often. I'm angling this a little that way so I don't dive too far into the middle. Or at least that's what I think I'm doing when I'm cutting this. Ooh, look at that. Oof, yes, yes, yes. Okay, that's getting too deep for that. Looks like kind of like a flower. Now, why is it so hard to cut? Well, we felted it together. That's why. What do you think all that stabbing does to it? Chewing right in there. Little skirt. Oh, it's afternoon sun coming across my table. I just love wool. Poof. You know who else loves wool? Most pets. Dogs, cats. Careful. They love to chew it up. Okay, so now, pop it back out of there. So the center is a little too high right now. All right, when all else fails, stab it down. And kind of mush it. Yeah, can't hurt. Okay, let's see. All right. Wow. Now, again, this has too much of a dome. We aren't going to be able to get that much of an arch on it. But boy, we're really close to where we want that trim line to be. And like I said, I'm still thinking I'm going to have to put the, it spins, I'm going to have to put felt pad buttons on the bottom of this. I still want to put fabric around the bottom because I don't want somebody popping this out and going, oh look at that. Not that it's ugly, but okay. Yeah. All right. I have to take a second and tidy up for a second. Now, here we go with the sort of scary, sort of fun part. Turning my iron back on. So I want to see how far down this will go on the sides. And I can see it's running a little higher than I want. So, trying to decide the best way to do this because I only want to take off a little bit. I don't want to take off a ton. Okay, let me grab a blade. One of these. I think the teeth on that one will be too wide. There it is. Oop. Just put my butter knife in the wrong place. All right, let's see if I can take off isn't going to be good enough. Now, if I have to, I will put a foam core bottom on it to raise it up a little, or a mat board piece instead of the poster board that I was planning on. Okay. Until I didn't needle felt that edge down as much. Oh, so the unfinished wood part that's right here, I just painted it with regular white craft paint and then sealed it with clear matte spray because I have that here readily. Oh no, I didn't. I'm fibbing. It's a clear lacquer spray. Okay. So it has a little bit of a sheen to it because if somebody's handling it a lot, I don't want there to be an issue. I know the center of this is going to be up higher. I'm going to have to come in and really dig at it. Trying to trim some of these hairy bits off there. Now, I could use the needle felting needles, but this is so compressed in the center now from me trying to do that earlier and from the top down that it's already so dense. I seriously doubt I can get it to go much more. Okay, definitely better. So I'm going to take this, take this, I'm going to kind of in an obscure manner try to center it. I'm going to use a smaller head pin right along the edge to try and see if this is going to work. Now, I have done this one other time and not in this manner. As far as I wasn't inserting it into this little wood piece and etc., etc. So it was much different situation. But what I'd like you to see is how nicely this will eventually lay down. It will. I promise. I promise. Okay. But first, oh, I'm not going to be able to put it in there. No, I'm going to have to see if I have enough tiny pin Then we're going to go here. Boop. I might have enough. Maybe. Boop. That. Just going to keep turning it. That pin does not want to stay down because I didn't felt it enough. So it's not able to hold that in. There will be no ripple by the time I'm done with this. And how's that? Because we are about to reblock it right on this. Okay. I know, you're doubting me. Kind of doubting myself with the way these pins are popping back out. But it will work. I am confident that one way or another, I'm gonna get it on here. Now watch, I probably did all this and it's not going to be centered and I'm gonna have to, ooh, butter knife. Get me my butter knife. Another way we could have done it, put a piece of paper around the outer edge. And slide it down in using that. Alright, so oh, I need a little bit more off the bottom. Boop. Okay, well, guess what we're going to do though? It's already on here. Ready? Right. Let that reset. Okay. Ooh, that's gonna look so nice. Now when I take this off, it'll have a curve to it. I'm gonna take the dowel needle to pop this puppy out of there. Alright. So close. I was so close. I'm blowing on it to cool it. Alright. Enough of this mucking about. Do, 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 do. You know, I'm just making it up as I go along with this one because I've sort of done it, but not to the extent of that. So, look at that. Look at that perfect little boop. Lovely. We'll just leave you right over there like that. Okay. I know you're gonna think I'm nuts, but that blade just goes through much better when it's actually felted a little bit more. Now that we're way up into this, right, right, right. I need to. All right. I'm actually just digging in to that center where I did not get it because it's still roundy moundy on this. Cutting in just that little bit allows me to get my scissors in. Am I afraid I'm cutting too much off? Yes, of course. But why do we love wool? Because we can add some on, or I can add on a bottom that's a little thicker. Yeah. Right. I know. You're going to say, you know, Kelly, I have a very easy pattern for this. I would say, awesome. But I'm ridiculous. And I do stuff the hard way. Ah, my goodness. Urgh. This is why they're not fabulous nippy scissors. All right. I just can't hold them as flat as I do the other ones. But you know what? Try to do something the easy way, right, Kelly? Right. Yeah. I'm gonna feel this in my hands tomorrow. Okay. I don't know. Did I actually take enough off? Maybe. And at this point, I think we're just going to run with it if it's not. Because I could probably keep shaving and going to town on it. You know what I am going to do? I am going to do this for a second. Okay. I can tell that that center is still all that compressing I just did. I just undid it. Okay. All right. Okay. Boop. Put a couple more of these back on just to hold it in place while I edge it back in there. Because I'm going to try to manipulate it this time a little bit more than I did the last time. I think. You can see that side looks oh sure. Sorry, pin in my mouth. Okay. Let's shove this side in. Come on, butter knife. Boop, boop, boop. No, get that down in there. Double checking. Okay, so I'm going to take those pins off so that I can kind of manipulate this to make sure that it's as close to the edge on all sides as possible. Right, so like pressing it down. All right. So what I'm going to do next is I am going to use taupey this is a outdoor exterior coats and Clark. We're not going to really worry about this getting stabbed and broken too much because we're going to have a piece of material that comes up to this edge. At least that's my hope. Okay. Yeah. All right. Kind of ill-prepared. My apologies. So that you can see how much is, but it's okay here and it's okay there, but it's not okay over here. So what I'm going to try to do is, as I'm going around, I am going to push it and sew it and manipulate it. And I think what I'm going to have to do is ultimately flip this over, but I don't want to lose this. So, because what I noticed happened with the last one was that by putting the fabric on and doing the bottom, it cinched things in, and so this little bit of height gap that we have, I think we can fix it. Okay. I know, you're probably going, I'm never doing this, Kelly. This is ridiculous, and I totally understand why you would choose not to do it this way. But this is just kind of how my brain works as far as the craziness that is me. And I'm just basically going to just tack this on. So that I don't have to fight with pins or any of that kind of stuff in a few minutes. Doop! Caught my butter knife. I guess technically that isn't really a butter knife, is it? Pushing down this side. The cording that we have that we're going to be using is 10 strands and 10 strands. I made it a little beefier just to try to, when it sits down in, that it will help hide any of the ultra suede that may kind of peek through. Okay. I guess I'm just a little obsessive when it comes to these pin cushions and using the wool. I don't know. And if nothing else, maybe you got a little entertainment value out of fast forwarding through the, the needle felting section. Okay. It still looks relatively square, so that's a good thing. Did I make it this far around? Oh my goodness, where did I start? Well, there's no pins there, Kelly, so I guess I should just realize that, yes, I have made it all the way around. Yes, 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 I see it, I see it. Okay. So, we're so close. All right, not it, Kelly, not it. Okay. Well, always leave a tail on our knots. There. Kind of frustrating. And I know why it does it. Because when it goes at this angle, these two sides are always going to have this issue where they're a little fuller than the other ones. Hiya. Come on. Okay. A couple tiny bulges, but I think those will go away with when we do the final. I hope so. Alright. Popping you out. And let's see. This side and this side are good. This side right here. This side and that side are good, and this side right here. And then that side and that side and this side. And so it's that side and this side. All right, we're just gonna trust that it's gonna work. Poof. Oh, the wool. Poof, poof, poof. We're gonna get to see. Okay, hold on. All right, so I've cut a 2-inch strip of ultra suede that more than amply goes around. And I am going to do that again and put this like this. And going to pin it. Come on. Let's make sure I did this correct. Yes. I put the right side in, put a pin there, because what's going to happen? I'm going to go run it through the sewing machine. Okay. And I'm going to put, that's where I'm going to sew. All right, hold on. All right, so I have reversed my fabric out. I'm going to put a little notch, approximately, I don't know, 1/4 inch down, because I still have to flip this. Not that you're going to be able to tell, because this navy blue is so lovely. Okay, make sure it's gonna, yes. Now, here's the pain and the tuckus with ultra suede. Real ultra suede doesn't love to give you a crisp edge to work with. So we're just going to pull this over, butter knife. Right, come on. If I had any moisture in my skin, I could do it without the butter knife. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay. All right. Looks pretty close. So now I literally have to turn it all under. Now we have to remember that this side comes lower, this side comes lower. So we follow this edge, and we're going to then chop these down and kind of realign. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second. All right. Nice and tucked. Right. Oh, this. Try to lower my light a little bit so maybe you can see a little better. All right. And I'm going to pin it. I need my yellow ones are nice and thin. They're the thinner pins that I have. Okay. Oh, look at all that wool bits. Crazy. All right. Keep folding it under. Let me see, will my dull needle help me a little bit more? Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay. Thinking that maybe I might want to bring this seam in just a little. Okay. All right. Hang with me. Needs to be skinnier. All right. I'm just going to let you hear this. And sit and watch nothingness. Oh, isn't that interesting? Okay. Hold on, guys. You can't see it, but I brought it in just a little and I tried to taper it at the top. And I want this seam ripped out because I want that to lay flat. Very good. Okay. I know, you're trusting me on this part because who can see on navy blue ultra suede? It absorbs the light. Okay. Perfect, perfect. There, that's much better, I think. And I am going to dart this seam because I put an arch in it. And maybe I don't need to, but it'll make me feel better. Okay. Now, if you are extremely handy with a sewing machine, you can probably just bzz, bzz, bzz all this out and have it all pinned together and all set, but that's just not how I do stuff. Okay. Now I forget which one was the top and which one was the bottom. That's the top. She says with confidence. That is it. Ha. Not. You know I'm fibbing. I kind of did a downward at the bottom as well, so it should be okay. And check, check, check. Come on. Ah. Come on, doll knife. It's a little snugger this time, so. Get your little Spanx on here. Ooh. It's gonna pull all that in. Now this is reminiscent of what I dealt with before, because I had it tighter Yeah. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go. Maybe it was the other side, Kelly. Ugh. It was, because that looks much. Yep. Okay, okay. See? Good, the bad, ugly. Come on, come on. Of course, there are some of you out there that will not touch this with a 10-foot pole because it does have wool in it. And there are many people that are highly allergic. Did you know that if you find that wool is itchy, it's because it has been over processed? That's correct. Over processing does that to it. You know, I could have been right the first time. At this point, I don't care. Okay. Let's get this a little straighter at the bottom. Oh, am I going to be able to move it? Oh, come on. There we go. Just work it around like that. Pretty good. Okay. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to masking tape that off. All the lovely wool schniblets. Okay. Just gonna roll that under. Pop that under that. Trim that little bit of schmutz. Okay. Okay. Now we know that this side has to be up a little. Oh, look at that. Popped back out. Oh my gosh. My eyes are tired from just looking at all of this. Maybe. Yeah. Oh, it's looking pretty good. Now, we're going to take this and watching from the interior, I'm going to make darts. I'm not going terribly close to the core base. Why is that? Well, I shall share. Sorry. I got sidetracked by a thought I was having. Get in there. I don't want it working itself down as I'm going around. because if I need to pull an area back up a little bit, I don't want to take a chance that my dart, I don't know, can you see it better there? Because I got it in the light a little better. Getting some reflective light. Because we're going to fold all of this under, and then we're going to put our bottom on. But when we fold this under, I want to make sure that it sits right in the bottom before I put the bottom on, because what will happen is that I can pull this down a little and compress it, but it looks so nice, I kind of just am not going to worry about that. So if a little navy blue shows on the side, I'm not going to care. But I do want it to be sitting flat in there. Nothing's going to be worse than having it tip, 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 tip. And after all this, I still have to repaint the bottom of that and do another coat of stuff. Lacquer. Okay. How do I want to do this? How? Ooh, is it going to be too chubby now? Okay. Okay, I am pushing this in and it is necking it back up, so we're not going to do that. We are just going to go for it. Okay? Team, go for it. So what are we going to go for? We're just going to sew this little puppy on the top first. Okay. I don't really love, where'd my doll needle go? I have a pucker right here that I'm not in love with, but hopefully once everybody gets sewn on, yeah, that'll give it its shape. Okay. Let me see. Hold on, I want to get some regular thread. Actually, you know what? Nope. Use the tried and true. Thimble on. Pinky guard on, pulling this back towards me so I'm not going off camera constantly while I'm stitching it. We have to remember to leave cording hole. Leave it, leave it. Okay. And I'm going to do a small needle because ultra suede. The larger needles tend to be a pain in the butt with that. Okay. So we're going to start at the bottom and, oh, excuse me, pull this down a little. Pull this over a little. It's as good as it's going to get. Okay. And I'm going to be doing it this way around because I want to be able to grab the fabric. And pull it in. All right. I think I'm going to leave the hole over here. Do I want to do it there? Oh, why not, Kelly? We'll do it over here. Ugh. Ultra suede seam. Okay. See how that's popping? Make sure that that's... Pull that down just a tiny bit. Because I want that right on the edge of the needle point. Alright, I have to stop for a second and adjust my focus. Hold on. Okay, let's see if this works. Okay. Okay, and this is the side that I'm just not even gonna worry about. I'm just gonna go around the edges. Ugh. I can definitely tell I did not um, felt this core as hard as I did the last one. Um, because it's not as supportive along the edge as I'm going. But it'll all work out. I just have this feeling. Urgh. Come on now, don't be popping back up. Oh, I hate the ripply edge, but we are going to figure it out. Hopefully by the time the cording's done and everything's put together, we can smooth some of that out. Okay, where's our start and finish? I don't need that much room. To start and finish my cording. In fact, I can put it right down there in the hole I didn't think I made. Okay. There's that. Okay. And I'm going to knot that off. Okay. Okay. Now, what we're gonna do is cutting this. Right. It's not fabulous, but cording will help hide some sins, and a little manipulation will go a long, long way. All right. Okay. Now, this is the piece that I cut for it because I thought, you know, this was going to be the right size. Watch it not work. It's totally going to work. Okay. So now we're going to take this and shiny side up because we want the matte side to glue to. Okay. Right. This is on the bottom. I can get away with it because it's on the bottom. And I'm putting it down like this because when I do this, I don't want to bow the fabric. This board is just too flimsy. Right? Makes sense? Yeah, it does to me. Okay, sorry, I had to make a phone call, so I just kept darting while I was talking. All right. Okay. Butter, 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 butter knife. I think my other one might be better for this. It's got a little more grip to it. Okay. I really hope this works. By the way, this is a much larger scale than the other one I did. Not making an excuse. No, no, no. Don't worry. If I bunge it up, that's all on. Come on. Urgh. That seam is really thick. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm going to look at this as I go to try to make sure that the sides sort of look about the same width. I'm hoping that this doesn't come out all weird in the center. Okay, I think we'll be okay. Positive thoughts, Kelly. Positive thoughts. It's gonna be great. It's gonna work. Again, engineering on the fly at its finest or worst, we'll see. I always have the moments afterwards where I say, I would do that differently next time. And then I don't do something like this in forever, and I end up forgetting. Oh, you know, Kelly, you did it this way, not that way. Pushing that all under. I am really pressing down on this to try to compress to make sure that the sides all look sort of even. Because ultimately I can't test this until I sew the bottom on, take the pins out, and flip it over. Right? Right. Okay. Now, what do the sides look like? Well, you look bulbous. You don't look like you're in far enough. I think that was like the first pin I put in. And then we got some that are like this, a little wonky looking. I'm sure we can kind of shift it around once it's been secured on. I'm going to come in with a pin here. Okay, I think I need to compress this more. I'm just kind of, eyeballing this. But, oh, here's hoping. Hiya. All right, thumb on. Which way do I want to stitch this? I do not know. All right. Oh my goodness. Let me see. I do not need to worry about. I want to do it. Pull into there or pull down to here. Yeah, that way. Okay. Looks good. Okay, I gotta do that differently the next time I grab the material. Yes, yes, yes. there. Oh, this reminds me of when I did the circular pillow with a gusset. Made me want to cry. Sort of. Wow, now that I think of that, I should have done it exactly like I did that pillow. The things we think of afterwards. Ah! Ultimately, I kind of did, so, you know. Who's being a troublemaker? Grabbing right along the edge of that. So I'm not pulling through the cardboard, and I can manipulate that fabric up. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, yeah. That's my thumb. Yeah, lots of loud cars that go by my building. Okay. I'm not too out of focus. Take you. I'm gonna push that in a little bit. Oh. Come on, Ultra Suede, stop. Being difficult. I mean, sometimes it's a love-hate thing that I have going on with this. Oh, it looks like a lovely sunset on Cape Cod. Ooh, I think we're halfway around. I think to fix my little balance issue, because the bottom of this wood container over here seems to bow out in the center, is I'm going to put 3 little felt pads on the bottom so that it always sits evenly. Or maybe the little rubber ones. I have not decided yet. Oh, we're so close, we're so close. So what would I do differently the next time? Potentially use maybe a different fabric that I could actually iron so that I could have a 1-inch band that went around. So I knew exactly how big for my gusset, right? Because then there would be kind of no guesswork as far as if it's too fat, too thin, is it going to look wonky? We know we have some exact measurements, right? What time is it? You know, another worst case scenario is maybe I don't put it in the wood box at all and just leave it like this. My concern would be a little light. I just have to add a bit of cording around the bottom, probably. Maybe not. All right. So close, so close, so close. You're almost there. Come on. Okay. Sounds like some angry drivers. I'm almost terrified to do a reveal of it on camera. Yeah, worst case, I'm just sending it out without the white on the bottom, but that's me doubting this a little bit. Okay. Okay. Not horrible. Okay, stop stalling, Kelly. Doesn't really matter. A little bit all the way around for the most part. Kind of shifts on and off. Okay, so what's our final thing to do? Let's put that cording on and see how it goes. Okay. Okay. You know what? I need this other. All right. Doll needle. Find where my. Okay. Okay. There. Okay. Okay, even though I already put this in, going to make my life a little easier by popping it back out. Hopefully. Jeez. Oof. Good thing I did. Gonna have to tape all that fluff off of there. There. Okay. Oh yeah. Wait, that thread's really long. Okay, hold on. Phone call I had to take. Sorry about that. Dang this doesn't look like a tiny gusseted pillow. Go figure. All right. Perfect. First pin in. Okay, where's a scrap piece of fishing line? And I want to make sure that right there. There. Yep. Yes, yes, yes. So much fun. Okay. So now, hold on. And I want to make sure that how I put it in, that I have the right direction. It is so dark in the studio now that even though it doesn't necessarily look like it with my camera, because my camera is auto-correcting kind of for the light, for the lack of the light. I'm gluing those little bits down because I don't want this to pop open once I get it there. Okay. And we're going to go. Did I do it right? Oh, I hope so. That'll all work out. Don't do that. I'm attempting to catch the fabric. Okay. And not the piece of cording that's on the interior. Okay. So now I'm gonna just cut that down. And I'm going to slide that in, hopefully. It's not usually the same way I kind of usually do it. We're going to push this down in the front. Tighten that. Yeah. Come on, you. Behave yourself. Come on. Working it in. Pushing that back. There. Okay. Time to sew. Okay. It's not perfection because that is a thick seam. Okay. Boop. Might be too far in. I feel like I'm rolling that seam up. And I don't wanna. Right? Yeah. slide that there, pull that, then slide this into the face of that needle point, slide it up here in front as well, and unknot it. Look at that. Yes, yes, yes. Ooh, that went together better, way better than I planned. Hoped. Every time I marry cords, I hope this comes out looking right. Okay, I need to change that out. Okay. Oh my goodness. My eyes are fried after this. And grab that fabric. Right. Whoop. And do a little knot. Oh, get off of there. Okay. And I think I need to do another knot. And even though sometimes it can look a little wonky, a little manipulating, a little pushing, a little adjusting is all it might need to get it to do what you want it to do. Well, if that isn't some hot applesauce, I don't know what is. I'm pretty chuffed with that. Okay. Now, what do? We put it back in. And I will probably take this back out and de-foof it. Okay, I'm going to take my little blade because I don't want this material to push up and make a tiny little muffin top there if I can help it. Okay. So like I said, a little bit of manipulating here and there, trying to make it look even around the edge. Not too horrible, right? She says with a doubtful, questioning tone. Push that down a little bit, like that. Yeah, there we go. A little better. Well, my friends, I think this is as good as it's going to get. Hope you learned a couple of tricks and are not too afraid of... Is that right? Does that look right? Yeah. That's as right as it's going to look. So, pin cushion completed. Let's see. This is a nice clean pin. Boop. Of course, it has a glue string on it. All right. Happy finishing, everyone. I hope this gives you a fun idea for doing a pin cushion.